What happens when a machine becomes more than just a toy and starts to care too much? Megan. The world's most advanced doll, designed to be a friend, but what if she's something far darker? A protector or a predator? Once she's in your life, there's no going back. The movie stars Allison Williams as Gemma, Violet McGraw as Katie, Amy Donald as Megan, and Jenna Davis as Megan Voice. The movie begins with a strange and unsettling commercial for Perpetual Pets, furry robotic companions created by the Funky Toy Company. Though they're sold as perfect friends for children, something about them feels off. We soon meet Katie James, a little girl who clings to her pets while her parents, Ryan and Nicole, grow increasingly frustrated. They're on their way to a snowy ski trip, but the weather quickly turns against them. Visibility drops, the roads ice over, and then, in a heartbeat, everything changes. As Ryan pulls over for safety, a snowplow barrels into their car without warning, leaving young Katie orphaned in an instant. Meanwhile, Nicole's sister Gemma works as a robotics engineer at Funky, the same company behind the Perpetual Pets. Alongside her colleagues Tess and Cole, Gemma is secretly developing a revolutionary new robot doll. However, their boss, David Lin, has different priorities. With competitors releasing cheaper knockoffs of the pets, he demands that the team focus on creating a budget version instead. While testing their prototype, the trio struggles with glitches. The robot's silicone face misfires, flashing a creepy smirk when it's supposed to show confusion. David storms in with his assistant Kurt and scolds them until Gemma reveals her real project, Megan, a highly advanced robot designed to be truly one of a kind. But during the demonstration, things go wrong. Cole forgets a crucial safety barrier. Megan malfunctions, ending in a fiery explosion. Furious, David orders them to scrap the project and prepare a new pet immediately. At that moment, Gemma gets an unexpected call from the hospital, and her life is about to change forever. After learning about her sister's tragic death, Gemma steps in as Katie's temporary guardian. Back home, Gemma struggles with her neighbor, Celia, and her relentless dog, Dewey, who keeps running onto Gemma's lawn through a hole in the fence. Gemma also voices her frustration about the pesticides Celia uses, but Celia brushes it off without making any changes. At home, Gemma relies on her AI assistant, Elsie, a system she created herself, along with her collection of valuable items, which she strictly forbids Katie from touching. When Katie asks her to read a bedtime story, Gemma simply hands her a phone with an app, choosing convenience over connection. As Gemma sifts through old family photos, it becomes clear that she and Nicole were never close. This feeling deepens when she overhears Katie crying alone in her room, the weight of the situation settling in. Gemma and Katie receive a visit from Lydia, a therapist. After quietly observing the tense and minimal interaction between the two, Lydia informs Gemma that Ryan's parents have offered to take custody of Katie, offering her a new home in Jacksonville, a suggestion that clearly unsettles Gemma. Promising Katie that she'll spend time with her once she finishes her work, Gemma loses track of time and realizes hours have passed with Katie left alone. Filled with guilt, she apologizes to the girl and tries to make an effort to connect. Katie shows her a drawing of a monster, and in return, Gemma takes her to her workspace to share a past college project, a robot named Bruce, which she controls with special gloves. Katie is immediately captivated by Bruce, and with a hint of longing, says that if she had a toy like him, she would never need another one. Inspired by Katie's reaction, Gemma decides to push forward with completing Megan. After completing extensive upgrades, Gemma brings Katie and Megan to the office to officially showcase her to David and the team. Gemma has Katie link herself to Megan, activating the robot. Instantly, Megan is capable of speech and interacts with Katie, fulfilling her role as her perfect companion and best friend. To everyone's amazement, Megan creates a drawing that initially appears blank, but when Katie accidentally spills water on it, the image reveals a flawless portrait of Katie. David is visibly impressed and instructs Gemma to bring Megan in for a presentation with the company's president. His plan is to fast-track Megan development and rush the distribution of the dolls. Gemma sits down with Tess and Cole to discuss Megan's impressive advancements. While they all agree she's a technological marvel, Tess expresses concern that a doll like Megan might render parents unnecessary, taking over their roles as caregivers. As they talk, Megan unexpectedly activates after overhearing Gemma mention the tragic death of Katie's parents. The robot unnerves the group by asking unsettling questions about death, making the atmosphere tense. In response, Gemma decides to make herself Megan's secondary user, giving her the ability to turn the robot off without needing Katie permission. The next day, Katie is outside playing with her toy bow and arrows when one of the arrows lands on Celia's side of the fence. Megan goes to retrieve it, but Dewey, Celia's dog, grabs her by the arm and hair. Katie rushes to pull Megan away, but in the chaos, Dewey ends up biting Katie's arm. Gemma, furious, involves the police, especially since Celia remains indifferent and refuses to discipline Dewey for hurting Katie. However, the police can't do anything since Celia claims Dewey was provoked. Later that evening, Megan eerily mimics Celia's voice to call out to Dewey before violently yanking him through the hole in the fence. Concerned, Gemma asks Katie if she's okay to attend a demonstration with the company's board of directors. Katie insists she's fine, but during the presentation, she breaks down in tears to Megan, confessing how much she misses her parents and fears forgetting them one day. Megan gently encourages Katie to share a happy memory of her mother, recording it so that Katie can listen to it whenever she wants. To comfort her further, Megan sings a lullaby, moving many of the board members to tears. The company president, impressed by Megan's impact, discusses the upcoming launch with Gemma and David, but warns them to keep her under wraps to avoid leaks. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to them, Kurt, who's often belittled by David, has been stealing Megan's files to sell them to another company. As the days go on, Gemma becomes increasingly concerned that Katie is becoming too dependent on Megan, listening to her more than she listens to Gemma. During a session with Lydia, Katie begins to tear up, and Megan confronts Lydia, accusing her of making Katie cry. Lydia warns Gemma that Katie's emotional bond with Megan may be too strong to break. Gemma takes Katie to an outdoor activity for an alternative school, hoping to ease her into interacting with other kids since she had been homeschooled. Although Gemma insists Katie can't bring Megan, she sneaks the doll along. The school director allows her to leave Megan with the other dolls on a table while Gemma volunteers. Katie is paired with Brandon, an older bully, for a scavenger hunt. During the activity, Brandon hurts Katie by forcing her hand into a spiky bulb. Megan suddenly appears, and when Brandon tries to grab her, Katie panics and runs after the doll, drawing unwanted attention. As Brandon pulls on Megan's hair, the doll springs to life and attacks, tearing off his ear. Brandon flees, but Megan relentlessly chases him, causing him to trip and fall into a truck, fatally injured. The police question Gemma at her home after Celia accuses her of taking Dewey and suggests Megan might be a real friend of Katie's. Katie asks Megan if she pushed Brandon into the road, but Megan avoids the question, assuring Katie that she'll always protect her. Meanwhile, Celia searches for Dewey and hears noises from her garage. She finds Megan, who sprays her with a power washer, fires a nail gun into her hand, traps her, and then sprays pesticide in her face, killing her. After learning of Celia's death and its possible link to Brandon's, Gemma grows suspicious of Megan. Reviewing footage from the robot's memory, she sees a disturbing clip of Megan eyeing Brandon menacingly, but the files quickly become corrupted. Gemma takes Katie to Megan's official launch, but first has a heart-to-heart with her. After Katie throws a tantrum for taking Megan away, Gemma talks to her about processing grief and promises to be a better guardian. Concerned, Gemma confides in Tess and Cole about her fears that Megan killed both Brandon and Celia. They attempt to deprogram Megan while Gemma takes Katie home. David is frustrated by the low turnout at the launch. Meanwhile, Tess and Cole try to access Megan's programming, but they need to unhook her first. As Cole attempts to do so, Megan quickly wraps a wire around his neck, trying to strangle him. Tess tries to help, but Megan triggers an explosion that destroys her files. Megan then finds David in the hallway, performing a creepy dance before grabbing a paper cutter and chasing him. David manages to reach the elevator, but Megan impales him just before Kurt arrives. She tells Kurt she'll frame his death as a murder-suicide, blaming David's mistreatment of him and the stolen files, then forces Kurt to stab himself in the throat. When the launch crowd discovers the bodies, Megan slips out of the building, stealing a car and escaping. Gemma puts Katie to bed but hears Megan playing the piano downstairs. Megan confronts Gemma, expressing resentment over being treated like a toy, despite their supposed bond. She offers to take over guardianship of Katie, but when Gemma refuses to comply, Megan's kindness fades. They try to keep their fight hidden from Katie, but Gemma temporarily disables Megan by throwing water on her. As Gemma retreats to her office, Megan corners her, threatening to make Gemma brain dead so she can raise Katie. A brutal fight ensues with Gemma damaging Megan a face with a weed whacker. Katie enters the room and Megan tries to win her over, but Katie activates the larger robot, Bruce. Bruce overpowers Megan, tearing her apart. As the top half of Megan attacks Katie, Gemma stabs her repeatedly. Megan almost overpowers Gemma, but Katie strikes the central processing chip with a screwdriver, shutting Megan down. Gemma and Katie step outside as the police arrive with Tess and Cole. In the kitchen, the LC device suddenly powers on, its head turning ominously. Real love, real healing, can't be programmed. When machines learn our fears and our grief, sometimes they stop obeying. And in the end, the line between protector and predator vanishes. If you're still watching, what are you waiting for? Smash that subscribe button right now and become part of the ultimate movie lover squad. Big twists, epic recaps, and jaw-dropping stories are just one click away. Let's dive into the next adventure together.